A blast of the whistle from our referee, Pak Se-jin. Canada kickoff, and this friendly is underway. The visitors wearing their red strip. They attack the goal to the left side of your screen in this first half, with Japan in their primary blues, operating from left to right in half number 1. Match commentary available in French, as it is for every single national team match. Today, behind the mic is our good friend Matthew Cullen, for those watching on onesoccer.ca and the One Soccer app. In the English booth, my name is Adam Jenkins. My partner is Jessica Lisi. Both of us are very much excited, Jess, to see some goals today. Are you expecting to see some goals from the Canadians?
I am definitely hoping to see some goals from the Canadians. I think we've been quite critical of their attack, and for good reason. They've lacked that cohesion, they've lacked that lethalness.
And they find themselves defending very early on. A loose ball with a cross into no man's land ends up into touch. As we carry on that thought, and we'll have a question out of that action for you shortly, Jess.
This is a good effort by Marie Levasseur, but I do think that this just shows as well, Canada is somebody that is a team that we've been criticizing for their lack of heart. And you're seeing Marie Levasseur go into that tackle. She's leaving everything out there. That's a good start for Canada from that standpoint. But as I was saying before, I think that from an offensive standpoint, they've really struggled to connect. I do think that we're seeing them with that 3 up top. That has worked better for them against top opponents versus having a front 2. I don't necessarily think they have the personnel to play at front 2, Adam, if I'm being completely honest. Every time we've seen a new pairing up there, they look disconnected and disjointed from the rest of the team, as well as between the two of them. So I definitely am hopeful that there's some goals in the matchup today, especially from Canada's side.
In terms of a player's perspective, obviously, we're getting close to a qualification year for this program, and there has been an expressed, discernible attempt to find continuity in players, in formation. But the results and what has frustrated the staff more has been the effort and what they are continuing to call the non-negotiables. There's a very clear statement. Ashley Lawrence has been left out of the starting 11 here today. Adriana Leon, Jordan Huitema on the bench to begin this match. But from a player's perspective, Jess, how difficult is it when you are constantly changing formation? Yes, you want to do anything to find results and success, but I suppose we'll have to pick up on that in a moment. Japan are charging into the area. Some sloppy play from the Canadians leads to the first shot on target. It is Kiko Seke who has a brilliant right foot. She wasn't able to place this effort.
And this comes off of a poor pass from Emma Regan. That is something that they struggled with last time around. You do see her getting back to try and stop that shot from coming off, but there isn't options around her for her to play that ball off to. She ends up playing it right into the feet of the Japanese, and I think that taking care of the ball is going to be massive for Canada. We know that this Japanese side is very technical. They're very disciplined. They pick their moments to step and press you. They're going to win those balls. You have to be very precise in your decision making as well as your execution and finding your teammate. But yeah, Adam, to answer your question, I just think that this is it's difficult as a player. You're constantly changing. You're playing with different teammates. You're trying different formations. You have a new coach coming into the mix. There's a lot of transition in this, and that's not an easy position to be in. But at the same time, as you were saying, you have to focus on the things you can control, and that is your effort. You can't be leaving the field and have people questioning whether or not you wanted to be out there, whether or not you were looking to get the result. And that's sort of what we were left with the last few times we've seen this national team play.
Consecutive 1-0 defeats in Europe, falling to the Swiss and the Dutch. Shelina Zadorsky, one of the veterans of the team, certainly both in age and experience, the 33-year-old native of Kitchener and London, Ontario. Jade Rose, we're starting to see her get some more professional minutes under her belt, experiencing her first Manchester derby just a little while ago. Zadorsky's pass picked off and a bullet sent back up the other way. It's Seke. A control touch as she scans, looking for teammates. It's spilled by Sheridan. Momoko Tanikawa, of Bayern Munich, not able to put it away on the rebound. An industrious run from Jade Revere through the contact, overplays Holly Ward. Toko Koga steals it back for Japan.
Obviously that ball not coming off, but Jade Revere, I do just want to give her flowers for a minute. I think that over the past couple windows, she's been somebody that's been super consistent for Canada, probably the brightest spot in my opinion. I think that she consistently brings that heart that we were speaking about, that grit on both sides of the ball, but she's had so much precision in her decision making and in her delivery into the box, and it helps Canada create those attacking opportunities. You're seeing there her effort to be able to take on 2-3 players and try to play that ball off to Holly Ward. Obviously it does not come off, but that bite in her attack and that fight defensively is what makes her so special, and I think that she has shown that on a consistent basis.
Jade Rose's teammate Ayaka Yamashita in the Japanese goal today, her century mark with the national team. Loosely organized with some poor touches, the Canadian midfield's led ball into the box, a headed attempt from Mina Tanaka.
You're seeing that tidy in possession aspect that this team has. Japan is a team that will take advantage of what you give them. They play those 1-2 touches and they're going direct when it's on. That early cross into the box, being able to look for those runners who are ready and attacking the goal. So Canada does have to be better here. They have to be able to keep the ball. They're giving it up too easily right now, and you don't want a team like Japan running at your back line.
Hana Takahashi, 25-year-old, still playing her professional football in the country. A lot of this Japanese roster playing in the English and German leagues. Lots of Champions League experience. And I say this with the utmost respect. If you are giving Japanese forwards free headers as Canada, something is going terribly wrong. The timing of runs, fabulous. Positioning, fabulous for the Japanese. But when you think of a game where Canada can impose themselves like we've so often seen them do, we know that's something that Niels Nielsen has certainly prepared his side for.
Canada has to lean into that. That is something that they have over the Japanese. It's their stature, it's their ability.
Shot from distance, nearly picking out the corner. Canada, look, they told us yesterday there's some jet lag. We understand the travel. Well, they're playing like that through 7 minutes, and if they needed another wake-up call, they just got one from Aoba Hujino.
That's too much time and space for Marie Levasseur. You see it. She just needs one touch in, strikes this so well. Canada is lucky that the game is not at 1-0 right now.
It's unfortunately a turn of phrase we've used a lot the past couple of windows. And there will be a time at which Canada's luck runs out. Here's Jade Rose, her teammate with the golden scoring opportunity moments ago at City. Seike using her body well, positioning herself cleverly against Revere. Tough one for Takahashi, taking that on the volley. It ends up out for a goal kick.
Just to continue my thought from earlier, Adam, you know, this is a team that the aspect they do have over this Japanese side is their height, is their physicality, and that athleticism. So they need to be able to lean into that. Canada needs to stay tight. They can't allow, you know, they need to give them a little bit of a shove every now and then, not give the Japanese that time and space, because they are technical, they are quick, and they will hurt you if you give them even an inch.
Possession numbers very much favoring Japan as the 9th minute is nearly come and gone. Jade Rose slips it inside to Emma Regan, her 10th start for country, the Burnaby BC midfielder.
You're also seeing there that discipline and that compactness from Japan, and the patience as well. You don't see them diving in.
Janine Sonis making the run in behind. Would have been curious if the assistant's flag would have been raised, but it's an area that Natalie Henderson had highlighted for us. One of the areas Canada feels that they can hurt Japan, Jess, is forcing the defenders to run with their backs towards goal, where Canada can use their speed and footwork to find those openings in the back four.
Yeah, and I think we spoke about it a little bit in the pregame show, the selection of the forwards. You have a player like Holly Ward, that you have Nichelle Prince up top. You want to be able to lean into their pace. Sonis as well. All of them are pacey. They like to break the line. When the direct play is on, you have to be able to utilize it.
Overrun slightly in midfield, though, it must be said. Captain Kumagai. Tanaka drops in. Yazawa. Just outside the penalty area, left-footed cross. Revere's tracking, falls at the foot of Takahashi, likely screened by Canada's left back.
You're seeing the Canadian midfield right now really struggle with being able to keep up with that off-the-ball movement from the Japanese. They're at every time they check their shoulder, there's another Japanese player around the corner to be able to get that, play that ball off, spin out. Another player now comes into that space. So Canada does have to be better in the midfield right now. We're seeing them overran quite a bit in there.
Both matches in this window will be international A matches. That means they count for the normal rules and regulations. They count for stats, wins, losses, draws, goals, etc. The FIFA World Ranking. It is our understanding that the second match that will also be played here in Nagasaki will be a mostly behind closed doors, with the exception of some video cameras for the match, as there are some things that both nations have decided they want to try, a la penalty shootouts at the end of the match. Some secrets kept close to the chest, I suppose. Once again, Japan knocking at the door. Taken down well by Seike, just past. Fujino trying to step, collect, and shoot. She forgot the possession portion of that equation. There's Niels Nielsen, 54-year-old manager in his first season in charge, the first foreigner to take the position of head coach of this Japanese women's national team, and very interesting path to get to where he is, both as a coach but also just as a figure in football. Born in Nuuk in Greenland. Of course, he also then maintains his European citizenship as well. He's talked ad nauseum about what he calls an honor to be given the keys to this program. I'm sure he said it much more eloquently than given the keys, but I digress.
That was quite eloquent. Also, Adam, I just wanted to compliment your teddy bear PJs. They look really good.
Thank you very much, yeah. I see you didn't join in the pajama party. That's okay.
I didn't. Next time.
You know, McKenna's in studio right now with her slippers up on the desk as she takes this match.
She sure is.
This is Shelina Zadorsky. Holly Ward puts in the hard yards, receives the pass for Veer, spots Regan. Canada looking to switch. Levasseur wheels out. Sonis shows and receives. Regan.
Well done there by Regan. Recognizes that pressure, is able to elude it and go the opposite way.
Jade Rose. A few strides towards goal. Here's Semi Awujo. Tackled the ground. No whistle from the referee as Awujo looks over in the referee's direction. Canadian captain Jessie Fleming, cap 150 today. Takahashi tries but fails to clear the defensive half. Canada's longest spell in possession. Fleming not quite on the mark, looking for Sonis, inching towards the Japanese penalty area.
We spoke about playing that direct ball when it is on, but when it's not on, it just becomes wasteful. There has to be that recognition when you look up, recognizing where those center backs are, where your players are, and if there's any space for them to actually be able to get there. Sonis was a little behind there. That ball overhit, nothing being able to come of it. So just wasteful from Fleming in that exact moment.
Takahashi. Slipped through the legs, Miyazawa. Tanaka. Japan back into the box, an overlapping run and a cutback cross. Off Janine Sonis and out for the first corner kick of the match. So we get a look at the Japanese set plays for the first time in this window.
I think the average height amongst this team is about 5'4", Adam. So
never felt so seen in my life.
Short king. But there's no reason that the Japanese should be beating Canada to this ball.
Moko Tanikawa of Bayern Munich. A prodigy in some senses, the 20-year-old. Great ball that finds Koga. Glancing header, and I dare ask Jess the point you were just trying to make.
Yeah, this is a fantastic delivery into the box, and you can see they did beat Canada to the ball. There's another look at it there. You do see Zadorsky go up, but Canada walks away, again, lucky that the Japanese are not able to make contact with that and redirect it towards frame.
Well, that would be exactly whom Japan would be looking for on set plays. At 5'8", you could tell during the national anthem that Koga was the tallest outfield player on the park. Wearing Japanese blue today. Plays for Tottenham Hotspur. Fresh off the extension of a 4-year deal she signed back on July the 2nd. Played her academy football in Fukushima before moving to Feyenoord for a couple of seasons. She'll have some defending to do now. Prince had nothing but daylight in front of her. Unfortunately for Canada, it's an easy catch for Yamashita.
It's a good idea to try to utilize Prince. There was a bit of space in behind. Fleming just overhits that slightly where she's not able to get to that in time.
More threatening build-up play from Japan. Everything but the final ball to Tanaka. Off the thigh of Levasseur. Sonis trusts her speed. Well met by Everton's Hikaru Kitagawa. Crunching tackle from Takahashi. Revere goes to ground as well, trying to return the favor. Canada being outshot 5-0 through these first 17 minutes in Nagasaki. Canadian women's national team live on One Soccer. Adam Jenkins, Jessica Lisi with you. Nagano starting this possession off the step from Levasseur. Concedes the throw-in. Quebecois defender playing for Montpellier in France. Wujo. It's wasteful.
Seeing them not take care of the ball. That seems to be a trend over the last few windows, and as we're seeing so far within the first 18 minutes, they're struggling to really keep the ball, be tidy in possession, and it's hurting them. Japan is able to collect the ball and create opportunities. Luckily, they haven't been able to capitalize on any of them as of yet. Sorry, Adam, I just wanted to add to that. I also think that Japan has done a really good job at manipulating Canada defensively. They're pulling them out of shape. It's that off-the-ball movement that Canada's struggling to keep their structure with. So they do have to find a way to be more connected, communicate, make sure that they're not stepping out, passing that player along, and just be tighter.
It's curious to see how Regan's fitting in this 4-3-3 from the other systems that Canada's played. When we got the team sheet, my instinct was to think that maybe a Wujo would be playing deeper in that 6 to let Regan go and connect with Fleming in the front 3, but Wujo's been isolated, and the 2 touches that she's had have ended up in turnovers shortly thereafter. Struggling to get her footing in this friendly.
Yeah, I do personally love Emma Regan as that 6. I think that she's somebody that's grown so much into that position. She does well to find those spaces. She continues to improve in that, to be that outlet. But as you said, Simi Wujo, I think this is a big moment for her as well. She was left off the roster last time around. She doesn't get too many minutes with club. So this is a big moment for her to be able to prove that she deserves to be on this squad, that she deserves the minutes.
That's great from Holly Ward. I'll take it myself, thank you very much, and slaloms through the Japanese defense to win a corner.
that's the most Hollywood thing I've ever seen. She did that game in and game out in the NSL. Fantastic year for her, but she has that tenacity that you want in a winger. She's not afraid to go at people, to take her opportunities, whether that's her getting the ball into the box, she's striking it herself, or she's able to win a corner kick here and give her team another opportunity on goal. So
forward come the Canadian aerial threats. Janine Sonis stands at the corner flag. It's a flood the box moment for Canada, including 2 players in the goal area. Ward effectively setting a screen for Yamashita. It's Sonis. Drops it in towards the back post. Enough of a glove from the Japanese keeper. A head-on-head collision between Zadorsky and Hermark just a few yards from the back post. Lead to a brief halt in play as the physios come out to ensure that both are okay. Seeing a few stars right now, I'm sure. Saki Kumagai, cap number 164 today for the Japanese captain.
See the connection there.
Kumagai will have an imprint of Zadorsky's forehead on the back of her head for a couple of days. She is starting to slowly creep up towards the all-time caps total. This program's illustrious history. Sawa, the goalkeeper who was responsible for the penalty area from 93 through 2015, a double centurion. Pardon me, midfielder. Another ball from Canada. Sonis for Zadorsky, has to adjust her run. Meets it a few steps away from the touchline. Swinging it back in, that's a deceptively good cross. Sonis won't get a chance at the half volley as Prince is charged with a foul in the box.
That's really well done by Zadorsky to get that ball into the box. The initial delivery, not so great from Sonis. You know, it does happen, of course. Not every delivery is going to be perfect, but I do think that today's match, set pieces are going to be massive for Canada. They have to be able to capitalize on them. The delivery into the box has to be better, and then they have to use, as we spoke about before, their stature to be able to get through that ball, find the back of the net, and execute. And I don't think they've been as great as they have been in the past on set pieces as of late.
Just past quarter time in Nagasaki. With her back to goal. It's a trap from Tanikawa, but she was offside. I have to get my requisite comment in about how much I love the Japanese kid. Every time I see them play, it's one of the best in world football. You just like the blue from your Woodbridge days, I bet.
Yes, that's it, Adam. You know me so well.
Zadorsky. Underneath the sliding Tanaka. Passed off the Canadians. Stolen back by Regan. Here's Jesse Fleming. Drifting all the way to the left side to get some touches on the football. The real question I have is if Holly Ward brought her NSL championship medal to camp and just hung out with Regan a little closer than normal.
I feel like she's way too sweet for that.
Here is Regan. Michelle Prince in hot pursuits. Toko Koga. Step into space and sends it all the way back to her opposite center.
Canada really struggling to find that constant fluidity in their attack and their ball movement. It's a good idea there from Prince to just flick that on to Fleming.
Wards. It should be a foul one and is. First committed by the Japanese in this match. Possession's just about 50-50. Canada's still yet to attempt a shot.
Japanese applying just the right amount of pressure to force Sheridan to kick that out of bounds.
I presume this is a very important person.
I was going to say, do you know?
Can't say I have it at the tip of my tongue, I'll be honest. Always get treats from the hosts, directors, keeping us on our toes. Dignitaries are out to see two of the top 10 nations in world football go head-to-head. It's been a long time since Canada was able to solve this Japanese team. Certainly they haven't done so to start this match. Desperate play from Revere and a fortunate deflection as it stays in play, allowing the fullback to clear most of the way out of her defensive thirds. Levasseur and Revere have been the busiest Canadians in this half so far. Up and down the wings as Japan scythe their way through. Clever from Levasseur, throwing a little bit of a pick. She knew what was coming. Race for the loose ball, negated by the assistant referee's flag raised. Flurry of passes from Japan. A lot of short 3-4 yarders involving just about all 10 of the outfield players. Wards almost dribbled herself into a pickle. Leaping backwards, Awujo grazes it. And her header ends up at the feet of Kitagawa.
So far the theme of this first half still being that Canada's not taking care of the ball, even in those clearances. They're trying to find Awujo taking that ball out of reach, not able to keep it straight back into the Japanese defenders' feet, and they're back in Canada's end again. It has to be better from Canada. They have to be able to find those ways to connect, have numbers around the ball. Oftentimes you're seeing that support lacking. The ball goes out wide, there's no one around to make that quick decision, and the Japanese are right on top of them.
Shalina Zadorsky as we enter the 29th minute. Holly Wards, Fleming, Jade Revere spots an open Janine Sonis, who's done well to keep herself onside. Sonis towards the penalty spot through the Canadian attackers, and Japan can clear.
That's really well done by Jade Revere. We spoke about her a little bit earlier, Adam, but her ability to not only pick out those passes, but be able to execute them as well. We're just consistently seeing what the Japanese are capable of in the attacking third. Luckily, they haven't been able to capitalize, but they're not afraid to take those chances. They always have runners in the box. They're hungry, and their precision in their delivery has been fantastic so far.
It's a great run into the box from Emma Regan, working a nice give and go to win a corner. Sonis blinded by the sun. Zadorsky fans out, headed back into traffic. Toe poke by Prince. A mass of humanity gathered in front of Yamashita. Canada can't get a shot towards goal, though it's about as close as they've come. Sonis, to her credit, has put in a few good balls from the corner flag.
It's really well done again by Zadorsky to get up and put that ball back into the mix. You see Rose, Prince, and Ward trying to fight for that, but Japan does well to get it out of the danger zone.
We're nearly on the steal. If you missed it in the pregame show, DB Pridham called up to this Canadian national team, and there were a lot of supporters eager to see how she would fit into the group. We can tell you that as a training player, the reviews from the staff have been high, but a passport issue has kept her from being eligible to participate in these friendlies. Fleming. Zadorsky overruns it. Fleming hasn't quite been at her very best through these first 31 minutes.
Good idea from her to be able to look up and recognize that there are runners in the box, play that ball in, but she does play it behind Sonis. There's nobody there. It ends up curling out of bounds. But to your point about DB Pridham, I was one of those people very excited to see what she would be able to do on the international stage. She's been fantastic for the Ottawa Rapid in the NSL. And I think that what Canada's missing, and we've spoken about it so often, is that bite in the attack and somebody that can actually find the back of the net on a consistent basis. And from what we've seen of Pridham in the NSL, she scores in a variety of ways. We've seen her score while laying on the floor, the header goals. She's somebody that can do it all. So, of course, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate on the international stage. It is a different, a whole different ball game. But I think that seeing her in the mix is fantastic, and she's potential. Is she the answer? Potentially.
I don't think Canada and their supporters would care how a goal went in at this point. They just want to see this run come to an end. Step from Jade Rose, a couple extra touches to keep the ball in play. Tanikawa. Jade Rose limping, struggling to weight bear on her right leg. And hustled over to Zadorsky's center back position to try and break up the play.
She might have got the follow through there from Tanikawa.
This is Gilles' new teammate at Bayern Munich. Roko Tanikawa, 13 caps already, just 20 years old. He's the second youngest player in the starting 11 today, with Tucker Koga, a teenager in the starting 11. Natalie Henderson, the Canadian assistant coach. About her story and her connection to Casey Stoney, how the two became appointed, and she admitted, look, I didn't really know Casey Stoney before the opportunity came up. Certainly their paths had crossed plentifully through the English youth national teams as well. You listen to Natalie Henderson speak for just a few moments, and it's pretty clear to know where she comes from, at least what part of England she's from. Also said a little bit of history, becoming the first woman to coach in a Premier League academy environment. Just 33 years old as well at the very beginning of her coaching career. Be curious, obviously there will be plans A through Z for this team, but what adjustments the staff makes at halftime to try to unlock Japan a little bit more than they've been able to do. Holly Ward winning the foul. 8 goals, 5 assists in the NSL this season.
Another great opportunity here for Canada.
Certainly doesn't seem like it's going to come from open play, the first to burst through the dam. It is Sonis. Sonis straight at the keeper. Cap number 122 for Janine Sonis today. She's perhaps a bit emblematic of the Canadian offensive lull. Hasn't scored since October the 10th of 2022 when Canada beat Morocco by 4-0. Since then, only one match with a goal contribution. She had 4 assists in the same game against Haiti back in May. We've seen her play left back. We've We've seen her play on the wing. She's in the front three today and taking the set pieces. Referee plays advantage as Sonis is fouled. It's Wards. Always dangerous for a fullback to leave the trailing arm out. It's off the side of the body of Takahashi.
Seeing that mentality from Holly Wards is really well done by the Japanese defender. But just after that replay, you see Holly Ward get back onto the ball and try to find somebody. She finds Sonis's feet, but it just doesn't come off.
Under 10 minutes from first half stoppage time. 4:06 p.m. local in Nagasaki. Sonis. Jade Rose. Levasseur up and wanting the ball played into the corner. Canada electing just to possess for a few moments longer. Don't mind seeing them taking a break from defending Canada by just having the ball at their feet. They've won another advantage. Incremental gains. Switching from left to right and back again. Holly Ward. Revere. Ward. Trusts herself on the dribble. Holly Ward gets around her defender. Here's the cross. Anyone's to claim. Deflects off the center back, and the second attempt at a clearance is an effective one.
Holly Ward continuing to do great things on that left flank, taking on her opponents every chance she gets, cutting that ball back. That's a great delivery back into the box. Nobody's there necessarily. You do see Levasseur reach for that, but she has just overran it a little bit at that moment. I think there's also something to be said, Adam, the fact that we haven't spoken much about Fleming or Araujo as far as them having an impact. It's showing you exactly how this midfield battle has been going for Canada. Emma Regan trying to get on the ball, trying to make things happen, but nothing really coming together for them in the middle of the park.
Kumagai first on it, keeping Prince away from possession in the 18. Sidorsky. The injuries to Gillian Buchanan, she has featured very often under Casey Stoney here in 2025. It's her 8th start in 12 appearances. Revere, not a bad ball, running at the back post, blasted into the side netting by Mireille Levasseur. Off by a yard or two as Canada come awfully close to opening the scoring.
It's very well done by Jade Revere. She recognizes what's on, gets that early cross in, perfectly places it. Levasseur hitting the side netting, that has to be better from her. She has to be able to connect with the frame there. That's a fantastic opportunity for Canada to be able to capitalize. And it just goes back to the fact that that has been the storyline over the last few windows. Those golden opportunities have to be finished. Those are the opportunities that are going to come back to bite you when you're looking back and the result hasn't fallen your way.
Sarr able to keep it away from Ao Bahugino. Takahashi from Koga. Zadorsky in a race, winning that race, but trying to fend off Seike. Just enough to keep the very clever Brighton and Hove Albion forward away. Scored a hat trick in her Seagulls debut. Regan with plenty of time.
See, that's the frustrating part. We just spoke about that. She's done so well to find those gaps. She gets that ball directly from Sheridan. She has loads of space in front of her, and the ball ends up going directly back to Japan. Not the best pass from Regan, but there also isn't much movement for her to be able to find anyone's feet.
Canada, of course, returning to a nation that has brought them so much joy. So the Olympic Games, it feels like ages ago, certainly eras ago in some senses. And behind Seike. Wujo brings that down, fights off her mark. Foul is charged to Fukunagano. Not a whole lot for referee Pak Se-jin to do in this first half in the way of fouls and no cautions as of yet. Sheridan out of her box, some fancy footwork. Buys herself an extra second. Too many times, though, these unforced turnovers. Canada to need to spend a lot of time and energy on the defensive side of the game. Levasseur defending 1v1 down the right side defensively. Past Revere lands right at the feet of Seike. Spots an open teammate, driven shot into Jade Rose, ricochets around Rose with another lunging block. Kiko Seike, Japan sense an opening, a brilliant cross, and it's an open player who smashes it home. Momoko Tanikawa, her fourth goal for country. She had about a full hour to decide what to do with it, completely unmarked. And once again, Canada find themselves behind the 8-ball.
This comes off of poor clearance after poor clearance. We saw Japan have about 2-3 opportunities in that before that ball lands to Tanikawa, and she's able to finish that. It has to be better from Canada. I keep repeating that, but you're seeing here, it's shot after shot. Jade Rose does well to get this out. Poor touch from Emma Regan. Another shot, Jade Rose blocks it. Now it's coming back into the mix. Great delivery into the box. And it's just a wide open man. And you can see there, Jade Revere standing there with her arms out, but she's unmarked. It's a great finish. Precision, quality in that strike. There's just nothing Sheridan can do in that moment.
And the body language from Canada say it all. They're stretched, they're bow watching, and they're trailing again on the international scene. As Nielsen finds a lot more delight in it than the Canadian supporters will at home. And we're at the point where, unless something changes drastically in the second half, we might as well just replay Casey Stoney's press conference from the last few windows and our post-match analysis from the last few windows. The quote-unquote non-negotiables lacking. Familiar territory for Canada. They're doing themselves no favors. Levasseur is lucky not to be booked here. It's a tactical foul. She still might be. without caution. To stoppage time now. Fairly fast and free-flowing first half. The stoppage time, still no indication from the fourth official. That could mean that we're a minute or fewer. Yamashita, her most action for the past 20 minutes. Zadorsky at the end of the long pass. Fleming beat cleanly by the goal scorer, Tanikawa. Japan looking for a second. Stepping was Levasseur. Here's a shot from about 25 yards away. Sonis aerially keeps it away from the middle. It's turned back in by Levasseur. Sonis clears. Prince, like a magnet, draws a few Japanese defenders over. Sonis' switch reaches Revere. Revere tackled hard by Kiko Seike. Referee will let this restart be taken for 2 minutes of stoppage time now. After 47 minutes at the Peace Stadium in Nagasaki, Japan in many facets of the game having their way with Canada, out-possessing, out-shooting, and crucially outscoring the Canadians a long way from home. It's Momoko Tanikawa's fourth goal for country that has Japan holding the advantage after the first half of play. We'll take a quick break, and then it's back into the One Soccer studio with Kate, Amy, and Jessica on One Soccer. Counting down to the second half kickoff at the Peace Stadium in Nagasaki. It's Japan 1 and Canada 0. Bayern Munich's Momoko Tanikawa opening the scoring late in that first half. A well-taken goal in the 43rd minute. It's the difference in the match thus far as Canada tried to find a bit more of a foothold. Heck, they'd take a toehold at this point as they have been chasing a lot in this first half of play. The greater context, this is an international friendly, of course, but Canada are about to enter into an important qualification year. A new season, or a new campaign, pardon me, in 2025 under a new coach. It started very promisingly for Canada as they emphatically were able to win the Pinatar Cup. Remember when they beat South Korea by 5-1? It was only about a year ago. It feels like a very different team. The outburst this calendar year came against Chinese Taipei at the aforementioned Pinatar Cup. Since then, Canada have really struggled to score against any non-CONCACAF opponents. They're trying to avoid a fourth consecutive defeat and a fourth straight clean sheet handed to them. As the second period is underway, Japan wearing blue, the hosts, now attacking the goal at the left side of your screen. Canada now operating from left to right in half number 2. Michelle Prince caught offside very early on in the half. We spent a moment or two scanning the field with great interest to see if there were any substitutions at the half. It doesn't appear as though that is the case. Canada playing in a 4-3-3 today. Revere, Zadorsky, Rose, Levasseur are the backline. Regan plays the 6, Awujo and Fleming, the more attack-minded midfielders. Holly Ward, Janine Sonis, and Michelle Prince are the front three. Japan in a 4-4-2 formation. Momoko Tanikawa, Kiko Seke really have been dangerous. Mina Tanaka, the Utah Royals, playing at the number 9, one of the number 9s that is, wearing shirts number 11. Jade Revere, double teamed. The ball stolen, takes it back, but sends it right into touch. So we wonder perhaps what substitutions we'll see. Perhaps a Florian Georges. Evelyn Vienne would certainly be a sight for sore eyes as well, and Vanessa Gilles is on the bench. Not quite at 100% fitness just yet, and Canada being mindful of that for both the player and Bayern Munich's sake.
Before the matchup, we spoke in the pregame show about Amy mentioned wanting to see Evelyn Vienne in the mix, and instead we were seeing a Nichelle Prince, and I thought that the mentality behind that choice would be to stretch this Japanese side, a very compact side, use the pace of Prince, but we haven't really seen her come alive. I do think potentially adding a player like Evelyn Vienne back into the mix, giving that hold-up striker that outlet for Canada to be able to find feet can potentially help them out in this second half. So I am hoping to see Evelyn Vienne get some minutes in this matchup.
Kiko Seke. Searching cross, guided back out to the left side, perfectly in front of Holly Ward by Simi Awujo. Holly Ward, just her 6th cap for country. She has been Canada's most dangerous attacking player. The left wing, collected on the skip by Kiko Seke. She's moved over to play more as a left-sided winger in this second half to start at least. Underneath, Emma Regan, and taken back, Tanikawa. Takahashi. Right to Kaylin Sheridan, an easy catch for the San Diego Wave shot stopper.
Sometimes it comes back down to the basics, being able to connect that 5-10 yard pass to get yourself out of danger, and we're seeing Canada struggle a little bit with that in those tight spaces. Japan applying just the right amount of pressure to throw them off and intercept those balls to go back down Canada's throat.
Jade Rose with a little hesitation, inviting the press. Regan overruns it. Step from Jade Rose. And the contact, and yes, a foul on Mina Tanaka.
A little bit too much contact there from Jade Rose, but that's fantastic from her to be able to get stuck in, not back up, time her run to be able to get into that tackle at just the right moment.
Mina Tanaka, the second eldest player in the Japanese starting 11 today. The captain, Saki Kumagai, has played more football overall career that she has put together, a formidable one. Tanaka. Kitagawa, nice change of directions from the goal scorer off Sidorski's hip. Japan won a handball. Yamashita all the way to the base of the center circle. As Japan very much on the front foot, and again we're seeing Momoko Tanikawa given far too much time and space alone in possession in the penalty area. Tanaka chasing after Sheridan. Oh my goodness, it can't get any worse. A mistake that would get you subbed off in Timbits football from Canada's goalkeeper. It's unnecessary, it's self-inflicted, and my thesaurus is running a little bit low. The Utah Royals number 9, well, she'll be smiling ear to ear. It's quite simply inexcusable.
That's quite frustrating. You see here, Sheridan could get that out earlier, but instead she opts to try to go back. It gets caught up in her feet. And Tanaka is able to finish that. It has to be better from Sheridan. There's just no reason that she needs to try to deke out any players in that moment. Get the ball out. She was there to be an outlet. The ball goes back to her. Swing that ball the opposite way. Just get it out of the danger zone. But instead, she opts to try to be fancy, and it ends up biting her.
Canada playing against one of the top 10 nations in the world, and they are very much on the verge of falling out of the top 10, and they couldn't be blamed. They can only blame themselves, rather. Maybe that colossal error lights a fire, but now staring down a 2-goal deficit. It's not pretty in Nagasaki right now. This is a troubling sight for Kitagawa.
Looks like she might have just landed strangely there on her ankle. She looks all good, up and walking, which is fantastic to see.
Better from Canada. Prince making herself a thorn in the side of the Japanese defense. Prince from just outside the box. Regan. Levasseur. She came closer than any Canadian player to finding the back of the goal. It's a cross that she certainly would like another opportunity on.
She needs to be able to pull that ball out, give her teammates an opportunity to be able to get in there, create something dangerous off of it. But I do just want to say as well, Adam, you're seeing Canada deploy that press, and when they do it well and they do it effectively, it works. And we saw that even over the last window, despite there being a lot of moments that are up for to be criticized, their press was good at moments, and they were able to create opportunities off of that. And I think that we're seeing there in that one example just what they're capable of when they are all on the same page, when they have that hunt mentality to be able to go in and have numbers around the ball, what can happen for them.
Nine minutes through the second half. Natalie Henderson doesn't change her 11 at the halftime break. Up against it, Canada, to put it mildly. Seke taking on Levasseur. Credit to the Quebecois defender. It's a corner. She certainly took the lane towards goal away.
Seeing Levasseur argue there that it went off of Seke. She did not end up getting that call in her favor in the end.
In swinging corner being prepared. Right in at Sheridan. Ensures there's no crumbs this time.
It's held well by Sheridan.
Rose. Regan drops in between the two center backs. Wujo not given much of a chance to field that ball. That's a yellow card in a tournament of competition. In consequence, it's a yellow card in this international friendly as well. Simi Wujo on the tactical foul.
there. Just pull back. Nagano. There's really no arguing in that one.
Just a listless start to the second half for Canada. Struggling for ideas going forward and spending a lot of time defending. Gino, header, free header from Tanaka. She's on a brace, and Canada are fortunate not to be trailing by 3. Levasseur stumbles, the ball goes off her right foot and out for a Japanese throw. Somehow, Jess, Canada needs to slow down and speed up all at the same time.
Yeah, they're continuously being beat to the ball in their own box. This has to be better, and you spoke about it before. There's no reason that the Japanese should be winning headers in Canada's box, but let alone they're not. Their role clarity and who needs to be where and who needs to mark up who has been lacking, and the Japanese are having far too many opportunities on Canada's goal, free as can be.
Julia Grosso has come in to replace Simi Owujo, Canada's first substitution of the match. And it's obviously always more than just the obvious height differential, but I'll repeat, Mina Tanaka is 5'5", and she has had 2 free headers against the Canadian goal from free kicks. Jordan Heidema, the Chilliwack, BC native, also onto the pitch in that double substitution window. Turned over. Sonis wins a corner off of Saki Kumagai. 2 British Columbians onto the field. Cap 78 for Julia Grosso. Cap 93 for Jordan Heidema as she nears the century mark.
We've been speaking a lot about that midfield battle because of how prominent it has been today. But I also think that, you know, those wide areas, getting those overloads happening on the flanks to be able to get delivery into the box is going to help Canada out a ton.
Zadorsky had more time than she thought. Someone ought to have told her.
See the frustration in her face. She's definitely going to want that one back.
There's Jessie Fleming, who's still on the ball back. Drives at her defender and shoots. Curls it in towards Yamashita. Forced into a save in the 60th minute. She amongst her peers in midfield, Jess, have been quiet. Jessie Fleming in the match, but as we zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture, at just 27 years old, she's winning her 150th cap today for country. That's quite the accomplishment. Second youngest Canadian ever to reach that threshold.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think Jessie Fleming's a special player. She's somebody that is the epitome of what you want in a midfielder.
Well, it's another free strike. Revere, she's moving slowly out there, but that's twice now she's been caught ball watching. She's done some great things defensively, and she's been invisible at times defensively. Rose also not close enough to her mark, as Miyazawa had a look at Kaylin Sheridan's goal.
It's essentially a free ball for Miyazawa. She comes in, no pressure, is able to redirect that towards frame. Luckily, Sheridan's able to keep that out of the back of the net, but the cross initially being struck into the box, too much time on the flank to be able to even deliver that cross in the first place.
Again, we're hearing words like urgency from the Canadian bench. Regan, Levasseur can't keep it in on the touchline.
look here at that second goal. Sheridan doing everything to try to evade that pressure.
Well, she's busy again. Japan looking for 3, and they'd be worthy of it. Not rushing anything, keeping possession in and around the box. We will try to find the moment that led to that most recent opportunity. Uncontested down the spine of the attack. Levasseur left. Sonis. More of a hopeful leap than anything as Seike was able to get another shot at Sheridan. It's been an avalanche of opportunity for Japan. Grosso, way too easily beat by Miyazawa.
And just continuously moving that ball patiently, very fluid in their movements, forcing Canada to chase a little bit.
There's been so much for both the Canadian fullbacks to do. Triple substitution coming up here for Japan, comfortably ahead. Miyaka Hamano of there is an answer to that, by the way. Chelsea, thank you very much. She will come into the match, as will Manaka Matsukubo. Miyabi Moriya. 3 players, all who own less than 25 caps. A hero's welcome for Mina Tanaka. I don't think she'll score an easier goal in her international career than the gift she was given by Kailen Sheridan. Holy Ward barreled over. Flicks back, that's a clever ball from Heidema. Grosso's in the box. Julia Grosso didn't have much in the way of support, so she will happily exchange that half chance for a better chance at the corner flag.
That's what we've been wanting to see from Canada. We spoke about playing that direct ball when it's on, having someone like Heidema there to use her height, flick that ball over the top. Grosso doing well to break that line and win a corner out of it.
This match isn't lost just yet, though the clock is starting to work against the Canadians. Sonis, right in at the keeper, she punches and directs it wide. Sonis will be forced into the outswinger this time, though she has been playing some straight as an arrow corners from this flag at least. Heidema backs up to it. It's contested by Takahashi. Revere. It's stolen away by Matsukubo. Stumps on a dime, delays, and allows their side to reset their shape. Confirmation of the substitutions. Kitagawa out, Seike also moved to the bench as well for Matsukubo. Third and final in that triple change, Mina Tanaka, pardon me. Revere doesn't let it get in behind her. Doesn't prevent the replacement number 9 from settling in. Matsukubo to Takahashi. Past the outstretched Julia Grosso. Nada Miyazawa. Another great ball into the box, and look who's left unmarked. That should have been a layoff. Would have been absolutely smashed by Aoba Fujino. Matsukubo trying to make an impression. It's a nice turn, just the wrong decision in the end. Both Canadian defenders sucked into the ball carrier.
That initial ball as well, their two lines of Canadian defenders are beat by that one ball, that one run.
Matsukubo. Just around Zadorsky. Here it is, through Sheridan. Canada was just warned. Aoba Fujino should have scored moments ago. And the next time into the box, Japan make no mistake. It is 3 for the top nation in the Asian Football Confederation, playing Canada off the park.
Seems to be the story of the day, Adam. That marking up in the box has been very poor from Canada. You see Fujino there just coming off the shoulder of Riviere. Riviere unaware that she's there, and she's free to be able to strike that on frame right past Kailen Sheridan.
The last match Canada played in Japan, well, they left with gold medals around their necks. It feels like a very, very different version of this national team now. On their way to losing 4 on the bounce for the first time since 2019. Natalie Henderson said it feels like we're weathering a little bit of a storm in this current phase. Casey Stoney expected some growing pains. They wouldn't have expected this. Levasseur could be booked for this challenge on Matsukubo.
Just come right through that right ankle of Matsukubo.
Japan have been able to expose Canada defensively on a few set pieces. It falls into open space. Sheridan has to leap. Gets a fingertip to it to push it wide. '71st minute in Nagasaki, 2 second-half goals from the Japanese. Canada have made 2 changes, Julia Grosso and Jordan Huitema for Awujo and Prince. Evelyn Vienne will get her time on the pitch that so many supporters have been clamoring for. Vanessa Gilles also makes a triumphant return. Holly Ward is a player sacrificed for Evelyn Vienne. 43rd cap today for the Canadian attacker.
I think Holly Ward has a lot to be proud of after her performance today in that first half. She was probably the brightest spot for Canada, showing that tenacious mentality that she does have in the attack, going at players and creating a couple opportunities there. Probably the closest that Canada got to being able to connect with the back of the net.
Vanessa Gilles replacing Jade Rose. Only the 5th time in her Canadian international career that she's been used as a substitute. Last year's Player of the Year. Last featured in the 3-0 defeat to the Americans. Look back at the story so far, it's 3. Canada could certainly make the argument that they don't deserve to have a goose egg on the scoreboard. Japan could also counter that by saying they could be up 4, if not 5-0. Evelyn Vienne, it is her 7th time on the pitch in 2025. She played all of 6 minutes in the Netherlands. Ball stays in play. Zadorsky back heels. Off of Oba Hugino. This will be substitution number 4. Moko Tanikawa leaves in line for the match-winning goal. Yui Narumiya will come in for a 17-minute shift. As for INAC Kobe Leonessa, J-League, E-League as it's known domestically.
We're seeing Heidema switch to more of that flank role with Vienne brought into the mix.
Gilles' first touch is a header away from the defensive thirds. And to the feet of another substitute in the match, Matskubo. Matskubo, who's still on single-digit caps at the very beginning of her international career.
It's once again wasteful for Canada. Levasseur looks up, attempts to find Vienne into space, but ends up playing that straight to the Japanese defender. Now we're back down the other way once again.
15 minutes to play. Equally important for Niels Nielsen's side to end the year on a high note as well.
Some good combination play there between Regan and Fleming.
Regan owns Canada's last goal. Scored in the 86th minute in Toronto against Costa Rica, a 4-1 win on the day. Which would be 6 hours and 4 minutes of goalless football from Canada if they can't get on the board in this final quarter of an hour. 6 hours of football, Jess Lisi.
It's a lot of football.
Kumagai. Heidema does well to dispossess. Jade Revere will also be shown a yellow card, the second Canadian player in the referee's notebook. Reckless offense after giving the ball away.
See her come right through the back of Hugino there, a little late.
Regan beat to it in midfield. Perfectly weighted pass into the box. Off the fingertips of Sheridan.
See Regan again beats that ball. One ball to beat Canada's back line. Levasseur not giving too much time and space once again. The Japanese forwards, and they're able to get a dangerous shot off. You mentioned it before, Adam. It could be 5-4-0. I think it could be a bit more than that at this point. There's been too many open opportunities for these Japanese players to be able to connect on Canada's frame.
Vanessa Gilles, a comforting name to say defensively. She heads it out of the box. Gino taking on Revere on the yellow card now. She does well to time the tackle. Quite frankly, Canada just under siege. Japan have put 10 shots at Kailen Sheridan from 18 attempts. In swinger. Flicked back by Regan. Revere guides it out of the box. Sonis jumps, but it doesn't lead to possession. Gilles again, now on a volley. Very hopeful attempt straight at Jordan Huitema and sent away.
We're seeing Japan win those second balls on a consistent basis, and it's hurting Canada as they're able to come back at them immediately after a clearance and try again and again. And each attempt, they seem to get a little bit closer to creating something more dangerous.
Tracking, Levasseur leaves the forehead in. Fleming hustling over, almost bailed out of the tackle. At the back post, flat-footed Canada. It's just way too easy right now.
I mean, what a ball in. The technique behind that is perfectly weighted by Hugino. Places it perfectly. They're not able to connect with it in the end, but Canada has to be more aware of that. We keep talking about their lack of defending inside the box. And you're seeing it on display again, right there.
Sydney Collins enters the match for a cameo with 10 minutes to go. Revere would be the logical replacement just based on the disciplinary situation. Florian Jord comes in for Jessie Fleming. Flo's second cap for Canada. Sydney Collins, she wins cap number 7. Correcting that, it's Revere staying in the match. Levasseur is replaced by Sydney Collins. Collins, a 26-year-old native of Beaverton, Oregon. She had that incredibly difficult road to recovery from a pair of fractures. Back on the pitch for Canada. It is wonderful to see. She has not stepped on the pitch since December the 5th of 2023 against the Aussies. You remember that friendly in particular back at BC Place. Any footballer, any athlete knows what it's like to fight back from an injury, Jess, but I can't imagine healing one fracture, fracturing the other on a mirror image and needing to start that journey back again. The amount of, is it worth it? Will I ever be back on the pitch again? All the thoughts that must cross through your mind. It's a testament to Sydney Collins' work and perseverance to be back wearing the maple leaf.
Without a doubt, and it's devastating as a player. Obviously, you worked so hard to be somewhere, just to have another disappointment come your way after you've worked so hard to get there and to recover. And Sydney Collins was doing really well for Canada. She had made that left back role her own. She was contributing in the attack, specifically off of her left foot, getting balls into the box with those overlapping runs. She was starting to create those partnerships with the players she was playing around, just to have that huge setback, as you mentioned, Adam. So it is great to see her back out there and getting some minutes.
The nature of the injury as well, fracturing her leg in a warm-up match ahead of the Olympic Games. So many players' dreams, and they were dashed in the blink of an eye. Her first season with Bay FC in the NWSL, trying to look over the fact that Kailen Sheridan was just about caught out again, but she can exhale. Ewing Aromia has yet to really get familiarized with this friendly. Jord fouled.
Jord is a player as well, obviously. Not many caps under her belt. It was her first call-up in that last window, but she's somebody that Casey Stoney mentioned as being very pressure resistant, and in a game that Canada has struggled to really keep the ball and take care of it, having a player like Jord on the field, giving her those minutes to get her feet wet and potentially make a difference and have an impact here is massive. And we've been seeing so many different players get an opportunity to play that role, and the only way to figure out if you fit in is to be able to go out there and actually be right in the action. So I'm happy to see her out there as well and getting that opportunity.
Passing behind Evelyn Vienne, the switch is completed as Japan comes soaring down the right wing. Vanessa Gilles went sliding, committed to it, knowing there was a runner headed to the back post. Aika Hamana was hoping for a tap-in at the back stick, but Vanessa Gilles takes no chances.
Gino continues to be a thorn in Canada's side, coming down that right flank, delivery into the box, early delivery, precision in picking out the runners in the box as well.
Bit sleepy on the corner kick restart. Vienne helps break it up, and Canada are down and in the clear, led by Florian Jord, caught by the defender. Two substitutes in a flat sprint. Miyabi Moria helps preserve her keeper's clean sheet. Pressure from Regan leading to the turnover. Grosso feathers it out to Evelyn Vienne. Haidema can't get a touch. Sonis on the press, wins it back. Jords.
You're seeing a ball like that trickle across the 18-yard box with nobody there to pick it up. Haidema not doing enough to get something on it, but then you also have Sonis making that run far post. There has to be intention. There has to be intention when you're making those runs in the box. It can't simply just be that you're a body in the box. Nothing will ever come of that, and you're seeing that as a perfect example.
Jords of Paris Saint-Germain. Jade Revere Zadorsky, too hot to handle. Down to ground one Collins, but couldn't trap it. Looks like Gaffer preparing 2 more changes for the home side. Wake up Minami. Harrington to this match. It is a triumphant set of substitutions. Curtain calls for Japan, who will be deserved winners. Second match in a row, they've dropped 3 on Canada, going back to the 2023 She Believes Cup. They have had Canada's number over the years, certainly recent years. Out comes Aoba Hujino. Great match she's had. A look at her goal. Clinical from the spot. Sheridan needs to do better. Gets through her hands. Similar in many regards, pardon me, to Canada's first goal that they took. No hesitation, a license to fire and rewarded. Aoba's 9th for country. Minami takes the captain's armband as well. Yoshida, just her 4th cap for the Japanese national team. Rousseau takes it down, Jords, nice angle. Revere turns, heavy touch though, able to complete her pass to Emma Regan. Find some space towards which she could dribble. And a foul against the Japanese will give Canada another look at a free kick. Sydney Collins is the player taken down illegally. Son is told to wait for the whistle. We enter the 90th minute in Nagasaki. Janine Sonis just over Vienne. It'll be a Canadian throw. There's going to be a lot of things to not like about this performance, about this results. The narrative could at least be slightly changed with a goal in stoppage time. Sonis swings it in, attacks the keeper, trying to, well, score herself directly from the corner, but the Olympicos denied. Slightly off the target, and Japan will enter stoppage time still holding a 0. Wonder how many of these second half substitutes feature more in the friendly in just a few days' time. Heidema, Grosso, Collins, Vienne, likely worthy of a start. How that changes the formation, well, these are all questions for Natalie Henderson to answer in the post-match press conferences. There have been a few questions raised. Zadorsky's tracking, it's off the Japanese defender's shoulder. Jord, a second attempt and a really good strike. Driven at Toko Koga, who makes a goal-saving block about 8 yards from her goal. Getting that off quickly, Jord. I'm not sure with all that traffic in front of Yamashita, she would have been able to make a stop otherwise. Little redemption for Jord, I suppose, after being unable to get a shot off the breakaway. Sonis pushed away, pardon me, by Yamashita. Canada sending a lot of bodies forward, so the red shirts scramble back. And Japan wisely saying we don't need to push the issue, force the issue, send it into the defensive half and reposition. Well, it's the same old story for Canada. Defensively atrocious at times. Certainly carved open by the Japanese, who for a second meeting in a row score 3 on the Canadians. And for the Reds, 6 straight hours of international football without a goal. They'll play again in just a few days, but it's another bitter defeat for Canada as they fall by 3 goals to 0.